Sure. Thanks, Mike.
Sure. That's great.
I'm Jasmine Hayden, and it pleases me to introduce Professional Innovation Catalyst, Toni Newman. Hello, Toni.
Hi, Jasmine. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Listen, Toni, on October 22nd, 2008, at Pier 21 here in Halifax, Nova Scotia, you're going to stir up the Nova Scotia business community with your exciting professional development event, the Innovation Advantage. I'm an Atlantic Canadian business person. Why should I attend the event?
Well, I think there's several reasons why people should attend this event. First of all is a very basic reason, and that is in the world that we live in and everything that we have on our plates, often we don't invest enough time in just allowing ourselves to think, to get out to talk to other people and to think about how we can do things differently. As long as we're in the office and as long as we're doing what we've always been doing, we tend to get a little stuck, and that's a very natural thing. It happens to us all. So just the idea of getting out of the office for a day and coming and working with other people and sharing other opinions would be great. But the bottom line on all of this, Jasmine, is I have a firm belief that the only advantage left in today's business economy is what I call the innovation advantage. You see, anything that is left brain, anything that is a technical skill, can more or less be outsourced or copied at a moment's notice. A new product, a new service can be copied at a moment's notice. The only advantage left in today's competitive business world is really our advantage to rethink how we do what we do so that we can get our customers and our market's attention.
Well, great. I mean, that seems to cover off the reasons to participate from, a business private sector perspective. But what about the benefits of attending if you're like me and you're in another sector, like the public sector and government?
No matter what we do, whether it's private sector or public sector, and I work with them all. I work for not-for-profits, government, education, healthcare, and private sector. We're stuck somewhere. People in the private sector are coming to me, and their challenge is budgets. Their challenge is a lack of resources, financial, human, or otherwise, to keep doing what they're doing. You see, whether you're in the private sector or the public sector, you have a reason for doing what you're doing. And chances are that over the last 5 to 10 years, there has been a change in those realities. But here's the challenge. Our realities have changed, but we're still doing things the way we've always done them. Or at the very best, we are trying to improve on the way that we've always done things so that we can meet these new challenges. But here's what I believe, Jasmine. Being better isn't good enough anymore. Improving implies that the basic principle in what we're doing is sound, and that all we need to do is tweak it. But the world isn't improving. The world is changing. The economy isn't improving. The economy is changing. Reality isn't improving, reality is changing. And so to meet that change, we can't just do things better. We need to do things differently. And to do things differently.
Well, because I mean, just to play devil's advocate, why innovate when you could just stay comfortable?
Because comfortable doesn't get you noticed, and here's the bottom line. In everything we do it to influence somebody else to do something. It's a great question. We could stay comfortable, but here's the thing. Staying comfortable means we're treading water. And in some cases, staying comfortable means we're going backwards. Let's say that you're in the private sector. If you're in the private sector and you have something to sell, whether it's a product or a service, you have to get people's attention for them to hear, understand, retain, and act on your message. But let's say you're in the public sector. Well, you still have people you need to influence to act in a certain way, whether they be members or of a nonprofit association. If you're in the healthcare sector, you need to influence the government. You need to influence your bosses. You need to influence patients and suppliers that are coming in to your network. So everything we do, we have a reason for doing it, and that reason is to influence somebody to act or behave in a certain way. But the reality is, if we can't get our message heard above the crowd, then we can't achieve that influence. So I want to be very clear when I talk about innovation. There's a lot of stuff out there about technological innovation, R&D, and that's all great. But what we're going to talk about on October 22nd is what I call customer-focused innovation. And no matter what sector you're in, you have a customer. And what that simply means is, how do I get clarification on what my message is and use innovation to make sure that that message gets heard?
Great. Well, it sounds to me like innovation means change. Do you find people generally resist change?
That's a great question. See, I'm not sure that people resist change. I think people resist the work that comes with change. It's great. What I run into, Jasmine, are a lot of people who play lip service to the concept of innovation. It is the buzzword of the decade. It is on everybody's conference room wall, on the cover of magazines. It's everywhere. But what people don't seem to understand is that it's work. They play lip service to the idea that, yes, we need to change things up, we need to shake things up, as you say, we need to shake things up to get noticed in the marketplace. But shaking things up takes work, and change takes work. And so part of my job on the 22nd is to give people those tools. A, show them how to create innovative cultures in their workplaces. B, take them through a process that is really easy. This is not rocket science. Take them through a process that they can take back to their workplaces so that they can create what I call the definition of the innovation advantage, which is more people having more ideas more often. And so, yes, we can stay comfortable, and yes, innovation is about change, but it's more than just saying, I agree with change. It's about putting change into action.
That sounds great. So, if our listeners out there are getting interested and if we've tweaked your interest in registering for the event, please visit the Project Manage Institute Nova Scotia chapter's website at pmi.ns.ca, and we'll see you on the 22nd.
Sounds great, Jasmine. Thank you for your time.
Thanks. You too, Toni.